Tariq asks, if you had to teach someone just one charisma on command lesson, what would it be? What do you think the most essential part of being charismatic is?
Oh, it's funny we talked about this. Do you want to do it?
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, it's kind of different. You go ahead.
Well, we did it last week and we didn't. So the most essential part, you don't have to do this. It is your enthusiasm and your energy that you come in. Even with Keanu Reeves, who we did a video on, who is introverted, who has a different kind. One of the things that connects people to him is his passion and enthusiasm for the things that he's passionate and enthusiastic about. And when he gets into it, it's very exciting to be part of. You don't have to be Will Smith. You don't have to walk in every single room and hey! Don't have to do that. You do have to care.
Yeah. I think the number one thing that makes someone charismatic is the emotions you create in other people, right?
Yes.
People want to be around other people that make them feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people who are charming and sarcastic, but it is harder. It's harder to be negative while making the people around you feel good. So I think being positive and fun and upbeat tends to create good emotions in the people around you, because now you're someone who uplifts their mood. And that's for basic charisma. It's just about what emotions you create in the people around you. People want to feel good.
Boom.
Unless you're trying to convince them to do something, and then maybe you make them feel bad.
Then make him sad.
You go, this horrible thing is happening. You turn the knife. But yeah, charisma is just the emotions you make other people feel.
Okay, cool. There you go, Tariq.
I like your name, by the way.
So Gavin asks pretty simply,
Two good names.
Charlie, why do you not believe in free will?
Oh. So the Sam Harris book is what convinced me. It's called Free Will. And there's a number of ways that you can look at it. I'll take some of them now. So you can look at it from the level of the brain. And I don't totally understand the studies that they're doing, but they are finding at a high level, read the book for a greater exploration of this, that when you think you make a decision, you're deciding whether you hit one button or another button. Your brain is actually already indicated. So when you become aware of a decision having been made, and the process that you think is actually causing the decision is almost just an echo of something that has happened sometimes seconds, not milliseconds, seconds earlier. And they can predict before you know which way you will go. There could, of course, be errors in this test, which break it. The other thing is that we're all made up of the same soup that was been around since the beginning of the beginning. Mm-hmm. If you think of the universe as a billiards table and you bang one atom off of the other, you can predict the direction that it will go. Now, things have gotten infinitely more complex beyond just two atoms banging, but we are still conglomerations of atoms and molecules banging. So if you could have identified where the molecules inside my body, my torso, my mind, and my mouth were 1 million years ago, and you had the most powerful calculator computer and you could run it all, you would know where they are going to be at any given point in the future.
Yeah, what you're saying is, assuming the Big Bang is accurate, that when the Big Bang...
Even if there's not a Big Bang.
Well, I'm just saying, when the Big Bang occurred, to you saying that sentence, it couldn't have played out any other way, is how you feel.
Yes. It couldn't have played out any other way. And then yet another way to think about it is if you go to your own experience. And this may be the most persuasive, which is... at a high level, when you zoom out, it feels like you're making decisions. I feel like I'm going to get the chicken or the pork or the this, and I'm debating in my head. But what are the things that influence that decision? So it's the thoughts that are going on. Well, when you look at your thoughts, am I creating my thoughts? Well, it's actually the preceding thought that prompts the next thought. What thought will I have next is preceded by a thought that influences that one. There's not necessarily space for free will. When you look at the thoughts that you have, which prompt the actions that you take, there are genes, circumstances of your life, and preceding thoughts, which form a daisy chain. And as you sort of meditate and you look for where am I? Like, where's this me inside of this whole thing that would direct it in a new way? You don't find it. and then the way of which I conceive of the world is basically... you're on a roller coaster ride in the dark. There are tracks there. And as you turn, your body moves. And because it's dark, you don't see the tracks, and you begin to think that your banging is what's turning the roller coaster. And in fact, there are tracks. And so what I think of my own life is I'm a bystander on this ride. I'm on the ride. I'm here. And here I am.
Yep.
And here everybody is.
My only thing, and this is interesting because I don't think that you can apply this logic to everything, but in this scenario, the way I think about it is, I don't know if I have free will or not, but it does appear to be, for me, useful to live in a world where I have empathy for other people, because I understand that they are largely what they're doing is created by their circumstances. So when, when I got robbed in Brazil at gunpoint by a 15-year-old, I don't go, that's an evil soul.
Yeah.
I go, oh, yeah, that kid was born in a terrible environment. He's got no money. This is also how the people around him have told him to survive. And so he robs me. Yeah, take my phone. Like, you're not a bad person. So that determinist view is helpful for empathy.
Well, that's not determinist, because you're still saying that he had a choice in the moment to rob or not rob.
What I'm saying is, let's just pretend that I'll apply determinism. I'll just go, yeah, of course he had to rob me. Whatever. I'm not going to be mad at him, though. I'm not going to be upset with this 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
But for myself, it feels like I'm better off acting as if I have free will, because if I'm on the roller coaster ride, whatever. It's kind of like a weird, like a Pascal's Wager-esque thing. Like, if I'm on the roller coaster ride, then fine. I was wrong. I didn't have free will. But I feel good by feeling like I should try to be my best self. I should try to follow the golden rule. I should try to do right by people. I should try to do good deeds. And when I do a good deed, I feel good about it, instead of just going, oh yeah, like that was my programming. I donated because of my programming. So I fall in this weird category where I get the logic of what you're saying. I don't know well enough to be able to poke holes in it. And yet for myself, it seems like it's best for my experience if I live and think and believe as if I have free will when it comes to trying to be my best self, do the right thing, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and my day-to-day operation is largely, it feels like I'm making choices, right? And I sit and I deliberate as far as I can tell, and I'm not always zoomed out in that there is no free will. So that is often my experience.
I agree. I see it. I watch you. You try to do the right thing and help people, and so you don't live as if...
Well, I can't live any other way.
Exactly. Yes. Well, I'm just hoping that this segment doesn't convince people to try to mail it in because there's nothing they can do to control their destiny.
I actually think it's a hopeful message. I know that sounds crazy, but it certainly allows for more empathy, as you described.
Yes, that's been the number one takeaway for me from this.
For me, it allows for forgiveness, because even if you don't believe in the extreme determinism, the hard determinism which I've described, what you can have is...
You were trying your best.
You were trying your best.
You mean self-forgiveness. Like, listen, you screwed up. You did this thing. You committed this crime.
What else were you going to do when you were 20 years old and you were sad and no one had... And yes, they taught you, but it hadn't sunk in, obviously.
And you were trying your best. And I agree with that, too. I think it's a useful thing for self-forgiveness in the past to be able to go...
But forward-looking, it's
And
useful.
then forward-looking, you still try... You go, listen, I'm going to try to do my best. I'm going to act as if I have free will, and I'm going to try to deliberate and make good decisions and be a good impact to my neighbors. And
sure, I'm going to act as if I don't have free will and do all those same things.
Yeah, sure. I just don't want people to feel like, oh, I might as well just mail it in.
Mail it in.
I'm just a billiard ball. There's nothing I can do, so I'm not going to try hard. I'm not going to try to learn. I'm just going to billiard ball away. And
if you feel if that upsets you and you feel like a billiard ball, I would recommend you read the book.
Sure, and I'm just saying that's not the takeaway of this. That's not the takeaway of determinism.
No,
like, still try to do your best and be excellent in all the ways that you want to be.
Yes. I actually think that it can even connect to a spirituality that goes deeper, which we won't talk about maybe if someone asks another question. But it's not a despondent or pessimistic viewpoint if you fully explore it, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of a nihilist, but I feel the same way. I feel like nihilism is often portrayed as depressing. There's no meaning, when in fact it can be a very positive, uplifting belief.
Existentialist, yeah.
Yeah. Of just like, okay, so... create what you want. Now you get to create your own meaning.
Yep.
Because you're going to assign meaning anyway.
Yeah, very existential. Yeah, for sure.
So
what is it? Being proceeds. I forget. It's been too long since I've read it. So
good question, Gavin.
Thanks, Gavin.
I have several more. Should I just pick one and then?
No, whatever.
No, man, we got time.
I'm not in a rush.
Okay, awesome.
You get to cut all the bad ones.
Yeah, just chop it up so it's interesting.
Okay, fair enough. So Dylan asks, and this was actually my favorite question when I was reading it.
Dylan, 5 greatest rappers.
Dylan asks, how would you guys go about handling a friend that has severe little man syndrome? He's very closed-minded and will often put down and insult others to build himself up. Calling out his bad behavior is difficult because in his eyes, he is doing no wrong. He is just being quote unquote honest. How can I bring up this issue without him, or how can I bring up this issue without appearing like a sensitive snowflake, quote unquote?
Sure.
Bro, if I knew the answer to this question, I have a little man that was in my life for a while. It was a total pain in the ass. So I don't know the answer to this question.
I'll try, and you can, I'm sure, add some color. So I think if I had to tell you one thing, it would be clearly bringing it up in a group is not going to be useful.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to bring it up one-on-one. All right, we've narrowed it down a bit. When you do it, I'd say, hey, there's something that I've been thinking about. You know, there's an Elliot Hulse video where he talks about you open him up in the pre-speech. There's something that I've been thinking about. I want to tell you. I don't know how to say it. And he wants to hear. Right? So I think, and where you come from is very important. If you come from it from a, I don't like it, I want you to change, it's a pain in my butt, you can still do that. If that's the truth, you can tell them your truth. If you're coming from it as, I want to tell you what people are saying about you that you're not hearing, that now feels like you've got a little bit more on my back. I don't like it still, but if you're like, look, man, you're not going to like hearing this, but there's a group consensus that's happening, and you don't have to change if you don't want to, but I like you, and I want you to know this so that if down the line these people begin to not spend the time with you or whatever, that you know, and that you can make up the decision ultimately whether you want to adjust or just allow them to move away from you and share with him. And then talk to him as his friend, and he's going to work through it and probably hate them and think, fuck them, this, that. Don't take a side for as long as you can, and then if he asks you, or towards the end, when you've really established that this is for his benefit, if he asks for your opinion, go, look, I got to be honest with you, I agree with him, but I am here to tell you because I do care about you, and I see that it doesn't come from an evil place, and I see that it doesn't, in that, but I do think as a behavior, it's not serving you very well. So that's my high level.
I think it's great. I think the other thing, and this is kind of what I opted to do, honestly, is you can't change everyone.
Yeah.
But you can filter who's in your life. So this was a friend of mine in my fraternity. And at one point, I hated him. And I just didn't spend any time with him. Instead, I made a different group of friends that were awesome. And life eventually softened him because I think he got this feedback in a number of ways.
Yeah.
Because if you're a dick, even if people don't say it in that loving way, you're gonna see people growing apart from you. You're not gonna be the most popular guy necessarily. You might accidentally stumble into other ways of being, and then see people do react better. So that's what happened. This guy, I actually quite like this guy right now.
Yeah.
But when he was 19 and I was 19, I couldn't stand him. And I just opted to filter. I think your thing is great. I was not very charismatic at 19, and what I decided to do was just make friends with really positive, cool people that I liked.
That's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong
It served me great.
Yeah.
It was great. I spent as little time with him as possible. And it was wonderful. And those guys liked me more than him. So if he were shit on me, they would just get my back or we'd leave. And it was like, all right, cool. Look, we don't need this. We don't need a hateful person in our lives.
Yeah. Thanks, Dylan.
Good questions
Great
today,
questions,
guys.
We're just going to cut the whole podcast. It's just going to be Q&A.
So Majora's Mask Mailman.
Oh, yes, Majora's
Which is,
Mask. Who was the mailman in Majora's Mask? I'll have to look this up.
Yeah, that reference was lost on me.
Me too. I have no idea what we're talking about.
There was a crazy mailman. I think he was a loopy guy, if I remember.
What is Majora's Mask?
It's a Zelda game. I mean, it's been, we're coming on maybe 20 years since I played it, so go ahead, though.
Well, that's their username. Majora's Mask Mailman said, could you guys talk about how to build a new network when moving to a new city? I'm 22, have just graduated college, and am moving for work. I have a few friends from college already living in the city, and people from work seem cool from my experience at the job interview, but I want to have a big network again like I did, or like the one I developed in college. Is the way to do this just to host events and ask people to bring friends that I don't already know?
It's a good question. One, you made a video on this, right?
I did. It's the big thing is if you think of a wheel, there's the hub and there's the spokes.
Yeah.
And you said it.
Let's link to this video in the description
Sure.
too, for the full thing.
Be the hub, set up the events, create the things. I mean, you said it. You can have dinners where every friend brings a new person.
Our buddy in LA is doing this very well. He throws beach day parties. It doesn't have to be a dinner. It could be a day activity. It can be whatever you like. But yeah, hosting events is good. I would also
and
say,
he hosts dinner. So we're thinking of the same guy, right?
Yeah.
And he hosts dinners and he brings several different groups, and you can bring you could tell them, bring one cool person that you like.
The other thing I would say is go to everything you're invited to.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody invites you out, so you have a friend from work and you like him or her, and they invite you out to an event, go, because they are probably going to have friends that you also like. And so then now, like, you can turn that one work friend into 5 friends. And if you do that with everybody in this new city that you like, you're not going to like everyone. But that's these people who have lived there for a while already have their network.
Yeah.
So rather than going one at a time and adding people you like, but not meeting anyone that they know, just hop in. This is what my sister did when she moved to LA for the first time. She had a roommate from Craigslist. They got along really well. She met all her friends. That's 17 people that she gets along with. Then she's at work and she makes some work friends. And now, so all of a sudden, 2 work friends and 1 roommate can become 30 friends.
Yeah.
If you're going to their stuff and connecting with their friends.
Yeah. You mentioned that you wanted to have the college feeling that in a city. I don't know what you're referring to about college, but I would suggest that that's likely to be hard. I think of what it was like to be in college, where we all have class together, which is like, it's like if we all went to work in the same building, and then
you're physically constrained a lot of times in college too.
And there's also an understanding, which is it's a closed social circle, so it's very easy. Oh, what major do you have? And you've got to be polite because you might bump into this person. Versus when we were in New York, you might never see most of the people you walk past ever again.
No, but I did have like 30 friends in New York.
Sure, and that's totally. And if that's what you're looking for, just a lot of friends, follow that piece of advice. But I don't know that you're ever going to get to the same level of I know everyone in this town that you get.
Certainly not if you're in a big city.
Yeah, that you get.
Yeah, it depends I assumed what he was
just
shooting
have a lot
for
of
was
friends.
a lot of friends.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're done. I mean, LA's got so many people.
Yeah. Thank you for the question.
And then the last one, I'm not actually sure who this is addressing, but it seems like they're talking to one of you in specific. But Sebastian asks,
Sebastian,
why
good name, strong.
Good names, good questions. Good job, Angel.
Thank you. Sebastian asks, why have you said you don't want children? What happens when you're old, and who will take care of you? Do you think this perspective will change?
I have an initial reaction, which is,
this is directed to you. I've never said this.
I didn't say I didn't want kids.
I say it on every pod. I know, you made fun of me because
You're the one that's just like, families are for losers.
Families are not for losers.
Families are for people that don't have dreams.
That's not what I say. I just said it's an option.
So I think
this is clearly directed at you, Charlie.
it's very interesting. One of the most common reasons that for history that people had children was to have someone to take care of them when they were older and to tend the farm while they were growing up. I mean,
Great
it was hands.
Makes sense.
I would suggest in today's day and age that is not a good reason to have children.
Why is
Well, not only because you're going in hoping to get something out of a relationship that needs to be based on completely giving for the first several years. If by several you mean 10 to 18.
No, I really think in general you shouldn't have kids if your goal is to get something from it besides the opportunity to raise
to love.
Yep.
The opportunity to love should be.
They might take care of you, but that's a really big investment of time and money, and not every kid takes care of every parent. And I think in general, don't go into a relationship expecting anything back. That is a contract that this kid did not sign up for when they were born. They did not get a vote, and they did not agree to that. So there's a number of reasons to have kids, because you love kids, because you want to raise a kid.
If you want someone to take care of when you were old, there's a lot of effective ways to do that today, is the other thing. There are tons of care. There's tons of ways to maintain a social circle well into your later years. And it's considerably cheaper. So if you're coming into this and a primary reason, certainly not the only, but if a big one is I'm afraid of being old and alone, really, really reconsider whether that's not a good reason to have kids. You do not need to be old and alone. You do not need to. There will be apps, if there aren't already, for home care.
You can also still have a life partner. You can still have great friends. You can adopt. You could do Big Brother and just form relationships with somebody else who's younger than you.
So that's the first thing is that objection to not having children, I think needs to be examined deeply, because I think you'll be disappointed with children if that's a large reason that one has one. The second is, why don't you want to have children?
Sure. I mean, at the highest level, I'm open to this changing. I don't enjoy being around children, which I think is a very good fundamental reason not to have them. When I am around somebody at a restaurant and they have a dog, I am so excited. I go, oh my God, can I pet your dog? When I'm in a restaurant and there is a 1-year-old next to me, I mostly go, I wish I were sitting somewhere else. And even when I meet,
there was a kid on the
children-
plane that was just having a hard time.
Yeah.
He was going for it.
I've heard it's really hard. I've heard it's really hard being a parent.
Dude,
on a plane,
my heart
'cause it's like,
goes out to them.
what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I can't kill him. He won't listen to me. There's no muffling this. I
like that you say I can't kill him.
like, no, I've heard from parents. They're like, people look at me like I'm a dick. And it's just
That's
like,
an option.
what am I going to do? There's
Yeah.
nothing I can do.
No,
I don't.
And you see the pain on their face.
We're all on the same team. I
Yeah.
also don't want my child to be crying.
I'm closest.
Like,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I get
yeah.
it. He's screaming loudest in my ear.
So
Yeah.
no, so why don't I do it? I mean, truthfully, that's it. It's because right now I don't imagine, when I imagine having a child right now, it's not fun, positive thing that I look forward to. If that, I'm open to that changing. I've changed a lot in the last 10 years from 21 to 31. Maybe at some point I go, you know, it would be really amazing spending my time raising a kid and being around a child. But right now that's not how I feel. And so literally the only reasons I would do it at this moment in my life would be fear that it's a mistake not to, fear of growing old alone, or some sort of uncomfortableness with that, I like feeling like I should be having them.
Yeah.
But there's no carrot. And so that's not how I like to make decisions. So
Yep. I think you hit the nail on the head at the end there, which is there's a lot of bad reasons to have children. A lot of bad reasons. And they in common, what most bad decisions have in common is they're based on fear, which is I'm afraid of being alone. I'm afraid of being left out. I'm afraid I will have
Regret
missed this opportunity. I'm afraid I'll regret. If you don't really want to, you're not doing yourself or anyone else a favor.
Or the kid. It's not a good, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a great reason to be brought into existence either.
Yeah. So if there's people that I know that should definitely have kids because they're so ready to just embrace and love and
There's a carrot for them.
Yes.
And the carrot stick motivation of pain pleasure. They are super excited for the literal moments of raising that kid, of having it poop its pants and being there for it.
Yeah.
And I might feel that way one day.
Yeah. But there's also people that I know that had them because their spouse wanted to.
Or it was an accident.
Or was it, well, and some of them have come around, but the ones that the spouse wanted me to didn't turn out so good.
And sometimes it does, to be clear.
Yeah.
There are accidental kids and the parents would say, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And they would mean it. This is only a prescription for myself. This is actually not a philosophy that I try to push on other people. I just don't get excited at the prospect of having them right now.
Yeah,
I
I think
quite like my life without them.
It's fair enough, and it might change.
Yeah. Like I said, 21 to 31 was a huge shift in a lot of life values and goals. So I literally don't even hold myself to this being a thing I have to feel forever.
If we do this podcast long enough, maybe Ben will have a kid on it.
If we do this podcast for another 4 weeks, I will have a puppy on the podcast.
I think we're done. Is that it?
That's all I have for you guys this week.
Thanks, Angel. You killed it.
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you.
Thanks. Everyone thanks Angel. So do we have an outro?
I don't know. Thanks for watching.
Thanks. Bye.